All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everyone. It looks like, let me just check over there. Yep, it looks like we are live here on YouTube. Excellent. Today is, what is today? December 6th. It's a Monday, 7:30 a.m. New York time, and that means that, what does that mean? That means that every Monday at this time, this month, at least this month, I'm going to be here live on YouTube to help you guys learn English. That's right. That's what we're going to do. So, hey, HML, good morning. Drop a message in the chat, say hello, and let me know if the sound is okay. If you can hear me, Joe, what's up? Yeah. Everything okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Just checking the sound. I haven't done a live lesson on YouTube in quite a long time, so I just want to make sure. What's shaking? I'll go in the house. 10:10. Excellent. Oh, I'm very, very glad to hear that. Very, very glad to hear that. By the way, if you, Mia, hi. Oh, gotcha. Okay, now I figured it out. If you have an English question that you would like me to talk about, then feel free to drop that into the, Mika is here too. All right, welcome, thanks. If you have a question, feel free to drop that into the chat box, and I'd be happy to answer that. So I'm going to wait just another minute, let a couple of people float in, and then we're going to get started. Today we're going to talk about, excuse me, Mia has a question. Excellent. Put your question in there, please. That would be awesome. Today we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Kingo Fryver. Hello. Hey, thanks for all your comments here on YouTube. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining me. Oscar in the house. All of the usual suspects. That's awesome. Hello. So glad you are here today. All right. Sergio, hello. Thank you for joining me. If you are just joining for the first time here and you don't know who I am, I'm Michael. I'm an English teacher from New York, and I'm really happy that you have decided to join me here on YouTube. Every Monday, I'll be doing this, at least for the month of December. We'll see how that goes. What's be obliged, between be obliged and be obligated. Ooh, that's a tough one. I got to think about that. I'll get to your questions in a moment. Let me just open up a window. I can write that down. That's a good question. Obliged. I'm obliged to do that. I'm obligated to do that. That's a good question. What's the difference? Let me see. I think I can do this. Yes. If you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. No? Oh, there's a delay between what I'm doing here and what you guys can see. Oh, there it is. Okay. What's the difference between be obliged and be obligated? My initial answer to that is that those two are basically the same. Let's see. Obliged. I'm obliged to do that. Okay, you know what? Mia, that's a good question, and I'm sorry. I need some time to think about that. That's kind of a tough question for me to answer off the top of my head. So I don't want to give you a bad answer. So I wrote that down, and I will get to that, but I don't think I can get to it right now. Elena is here. Hello, Elena. Simple past and present. Okay, this is an easy question. All right. Amal asks, when can we use the simple past and the present perfect? The basic answer is that the simple past, I saw that movie last week. Okay, that's the simple past. I saw that movie last week. When we talk about one point in time in the past, you can use the simple past. I saw that movie last week. However, I have seen that movie before. That's the present perfect. I have seen that movie before. It happened sometime in the past. It happened sometime before now, but you don't know when. I'm kind of just focusing on my experience. I have seen that movie before. You don't know when. Okay, so that's the difference between the simple past. The simple past just talks about one point in time in the past. I saw that movie last week, so you know when. It was one time, it was a one-time thing in the past. But I have seen that movie before talks about sometime in the past. Okay, so that's the basic idea between the simple past and the present perfect. The present perfect is also used when you connect the past to now. So I could say, for example, I have lived here since 2010. Okay, so starting in 2010 until now, I live here. So I have lived here since 2010. So that's the second way that we use the present perfect. But the simple past is just to talk about one point in time in the past. So I hope that that is helpful. Okay, that's that. All right, so this is what I want to talk about today. Dun, 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 dun. Because the theme for today's lesson is how to improve your English. Okay, and I know that there are, so many lessons out there that say, okay, I'm going to teach you the secret to improving English. I have the secret. So there is no secret. Or I should say, the secret to improving your English is working hard to do that. Okay? So it's not easy to learn a second language. Okay? That's not a secret, that's the truth. And I know that because I do study Japanese. That is my second language. It is not easy to learn a second language, okay? So there are no tricks, there are no secrets, there are no shortcuts. If you're a person and you're into exercising and you want to build up your muscles, hang on one second. You want to go, oh, look, I'm strong, right? You can't go to the gym once or twice, lift a few weights, and suddenly you look like a bodybuilder. It doesn't happen that way. It takes time and effort to, build up your physical body. If you want to learn how to play the piano, you can't take one piano lesson and then suddenly, you're an awesome piano player. It's impossible. It takes time and effort. And it's anything in life, right? Like you want to lose weight, you don't just wake up in the morning and go, okay, I'm going to lose 10 kilograms tomorrow. It doesn't happen. So it takes hard work. And it takes hard work to learn a second language. That's the reality. So if you came here today looking for some, magic dust, sorry, I don't have any magic dust. What I have today is what I think to be good and true advice to help you. And so let's dive into that. Okay, so what is language? That's a good question. I always feel that language is input and output, okay? Language has those two components, input and output. And input is listening and reading. And output is writing and speaking. And if you want to improve your English, then what you need to do is have input and output every day, which means you need to spend some time listening, spend some time reading, spend some time writing, and spend some time speaking every day. And today I'm going to give you some ideas about that and how you can do that, okay? So let's talk about, push the button, Michael. There it is. Let's talk about listening first. Is that right? Did I do that right? Sorry. Yes. Okay. Listening. We live in the best century, in the best time to learn anything because of the internet, right? You guys are with me here today thanks to the technology, okay? So there are many opportunities to learn and to learn English and to listen to English. Here are some of them. First of all, whatever you're going to use to study, it's got to be something you're interested in. I recommend, for example, some TV shows, but if you say, well, Michael, I'm not a TV person, I don't really like to watch TV, then don't do that, okay? Whatever you use, whatever you're going to spend your time with, then it's got to be something you're interested in. And I say that, and I'm guessing that everybody here today is an adult, right? You're not kids. So as an adult, you have a life. You have a very, very busy life. And your time is extremely precious, okay? So whatever you're going to spend your precious time on has to be something you're interested in, okay? That's first and foremost. Because if you're interested in that, then you're motivated to use that tool. Makes sense, right? So here are some things. Podcasts. Now, there are two kinds of podcasts out there. One is like my podcast, right? It's an English learning podcast. You can learn English through the podcast. The second kind of podcast is a podcast where the speakers are speaking English, but they're not teaching an English lesson. Maybe they're talking about history, or they're talking about, I don't know, photography. Okay, or sports. If you like sports, there's lots of podcasts about sports. So that's one thing that you can do to help your listening skills, is find a podcast that you like. YouTube. There's probably millions and millions of YouTube videos. You know, find what you like. And then if that's in English, that's going to help you. Another thing that you can do for your listening skills is watch American TV shows. Now, you might think, well, Michael, I like British English. All right, that's very nice of you that you like British English. Then go watch a British English show. But I don't have any recommendation for that because I'm an American and I have really no idea about British TV. But I do like the TV show Friends. And I also like Big Bang Theory. Any of those shows that are people having a conversation, okay? Don't watch police drama to study English, because like police dramas like CSI or LA Law or whatever, all of those police dramas have a lot of action scenes, right? It's like a movie. A movie has a lot of action scenes, okay? So, an action scene where there's a police car chasing the bad guy, that's not necessarily going to be, it's going to help your, hang on one second. It's going to help your, it's good for entertainment, but it's not necessarily going to help your English skills. Okay, so that's why I don't recommend that. I like a TV show where there's people having a conversation, okay? And it's important to get used to listening and watching or listening to people have an English conversation, okay? That's why I like Friends or Big Bang Theory or any of those kind of TV programs. Okay, speaking. I'm taking notes, by the way, of your comments and your questions, and I'm going to get to that shortly. Okay, so thank you for putting those in the chat. I'm going to get to those. Okay. All right. So, and then about test prep. Okay, so you mean, good morning, Leah. Hello. Who else is here? Spotter. Hello. All right. So, okay. So, if you're taking an exam, right? If you're taking the TOEIC or the TOEFL or the IELTS exam, then I'm just going to copy paste. Okay. If you're taking one of those exams and you want to improve your listening for those exams, okay, then get as much of that exam material. For example, if you want to take the TOEIC, then go online or go to the bookstore and find TOEIC listening practice and listen to that, okay? If you're trying to pass the IELTS or the TOEFL and you're having trouble with the TOEFL listening, then you have to find TOEFL listening and only listen to that. Don't watch Friends or don't check out my podcast and think, oh, I'm going to check out Michael's podcast or the All Ears English. I love those guys, their podcast. That's not going to help you with the TOEFL or for the TOEIC, okay? Those exams are very, very specific. So if you're trying to take one of those exams and you want to improve your listening for the exam, then get the exam listening and just focus on that. So again, if your goal is improving your conversation and communication skill, then I would say any of this is going to help you to improve your conversation listening skills. If you're taking an exam, then you've got to just deal with whatever's on the exam. Make sense? Okay. All right. So that's that. Now, hang on one second. I'm going to go like that. Did that work? That didn't work. Why? There it is. All right. So, I've got some notes here. Okay. So output. I think that was Oscar said, I study input, reading, and listening, but I'm not able to study output things because speaking comes to me a little difficult. We'll talk about that. If I speak to my reflection in the mirror, will that work as an output? Yes, we'll talk about speaking in a minute. I'm having a hard time memorizing new vocabulary. Okay, that's coming up too. So those are all good things that are coming up. So hang in there. Konomi, hi. Mohammed, hi. Hello. All right, so the next thing is reading. Again, find something that you're interested in reading. Now, reading practice, which is input, could be just, you get your phone and you go to Instagram and you read the posts on Instagram in English, which is great. Of course, commenting, that's writing, that's output, that's also good too. But try and find something that you're interested in. Now, again, the internet has a ton of stuff available to you. There's magazines, there's news articles, whatever you're interested in, read that. But don't try not to focus on the news. I hear a lot of students, a lot of English learners say to me, oh, I'm going to read CNN News or the New York Times, and that's going to help my English. No. Even watching the news on television, you'll notice that in the listening section, I did not mention the news. Okay, here's why. Okay, here's why. Here's why.
Good evening and welcome to the news. This is the news with all of the news and the information that you need, and this is why the news is not good to study English, because the news is just people talking like this, and that is not very helpful. Thank you very much.
That's why the news is not helpful. The news is one person talking to you. It is not conversational, and it's a different style of spoken English. So if you're thinking, well, I'm going to check out the news, and the news is really going to help me, it is not. Okay? If you're interested in the news, great. But I don't recommend the news as a source of something to help you with your language skills, all right? And same thing with reading. I mentioned that in passing before, and there are some news sources that are good for you. One of them is called, it's called, let me show you this right, Breaking News English. I think that's what it's called, breakingnewsenglish.com. And that website has news articles, which I don't remember the gentleman's name who does that, but he's an English teacher and he writes English lessons based on news articles, and he takes one news article or one news story from a couple of sources and he makes a summary on 6 different levels. And that's a good news source. That's breakingnewsenglish.com. So I would recommend that as a source. But there are a lot of other things. And like I said, for example, are you interested in sports? Then, or table tennis, right? Mia likes table tennis. Go find a table tennis blog. There's plenty of things out there that you can find which are good for helping you with your reading skills. In terms of books, it's pretty clear that I like The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That's a great book for learning conversational English. All right? I like that. And in fact, as you know, most of you are here, every Tuesday on Clubhouse at this time, on the Clubhouse app, we read through The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and we practice the vocab and the expressions, which is good. About reading, go for the 60 to 70% rule. What does that mean? It means that if you're reading something and without a dictionary, you can understand 60 to 70% of what you read. That's the right material for you. If you need a dictionary if there's 1 or 2 words in every sentence that you don't know, that's going to be challenging. All right? So try to read, go for about 60%, maybe 70%, that you can understand that without a dictionary, then that's the right level of material for you. Okay? And about dictionaries, try really hard to not use a dictionary when you read, because this is what you're going to do. You're going to go, okay, today I got to check that word. Okay, check that word. And then Marcia went to I got to check that word. So if you're checking, every sentence you're checking a word, and you read and you go back to your dictionary and you read and go back to your dictionary, you're not going to learn it. You're not going to do it. It's not motivating. It's not fun. Again, it's got to be something you're interested in. If you're interested in it, then do it. If you're not interested in it, then don't do it and find something else. Okay? Time is precious. Okay, let me just go back a second. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Leave a comment. Let me know if that's making sense for you. All right. Oh, Tammy, hi. Thanks for coming. Banana. Hello, banana. Banana, banana. You say banana. I say banana. How about ABC and CNN are my favorites? Okay, so if you like the news and you enjoy ABC and CNN, then do it. That means it's working for you. Okay, but don't think. Let me clarify that about my comment about the news. Okay, some people feel that the news is like the top goal. Oh, my goal is to understand the news in English, and they think that is the top level, number one high goal. Okay, I don't think so. I don't think that the news is the highest goal, okay, in language learning. So that's why I'm anti-news for language learning, all right? But if you like that, if you enjoy that, and if that helps you, awesome. That's awesome. Again, you've got to find something you're interested in, all right? And if you're interested in that, that's going to help you. Tammy says, how about TCM movies and good old comedies? Yeah. So, not every movie is bad for learning English. Let me explain that again, okay? A lot of people like Star Wars. So if you look at Star Wars, any Star Wars movie, it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, right? And there are a lot of action scenes, a lot of flying through space and shooting their laser or whatever they do, okay? That kind of scene doesn't have people talking. So in Star Wars, for example, in a Star Wars movie, maybe 30% of the movie is just some kind of a scene without dialogue. So yes, Star Wars is entertaining, but no, Star Wars is not necessarily going to help you improve your English because there's a lot of action scenes. And also, 2.5 hours of one story is a lot of language to handle. Whereas one episode of a TV show like Friends, that's 20 minutes. And that's easier to handle. So that's my point. But some of those old movies, like I love Casablanca. I think Casablanca is it's my favorite movie, okay, Casablanca. We'll always have Paris. So there's mostly dialogue in that movie. There's mostly people talking. Perfect. That's going to help more than some kind of action scenes. All right. Yumino, hello, good morning. Thanks for coming. Right, Leah said that, right. Some movies lack dialogues. Ghostbusters. It all depends, first of all, again, on that it's something that you're interested in, okay? If you're interested in it, then it's going to help you. But if there's 5 minutes of conversation and then 5 minutes of chasing or just scenery doesn't really help you. And again, that's why I like TV shows like Friends or The Big Bang Theory, because it's just people talking. There's very little just a scene of something happening. And so that's what's going to help you. Because the goal is, what's the goal? The goal is I want to improve my speaking skills, right? You want to communicate. Maybe I guess that's what your goal is, right? To communicate and to have an English conversation that's that's the goal, right? You want to communicate with people. And so watching the news guy, that's not communication. But watching on Friends, watching Ross and Joey talk, or Phoebe and Joey talk, that's people talking, and that's going to help you, right? It's difficult when you're in a conversation, three people, you're in a conversation with, it's you and two people, and those people are speaking English, right? It's hard to catch the conversation. And so that's my point. All right, so we talked about input, listening and reading. Again, whatever you're interested in is going to be the awesome thing for you. Now, let's talk about output, okay? Click, clickety click. Okay, so the first kind of output that you can do, and you don't need necessarily anybody, is writing. All right, so what can you write? First of all, if you're on social media, which I guess you are, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, okay, you can either write a post or you can reply to a post, okay? So that's your output. Now, some people, and I'm not going to embarrass anybody that's here on this chat, but some of you, and you know who you are, you reply and you make a comment, at least for most of the posts. If I post something on Facebook, you're going to make a comment. If I post something on Twitter, you're going to write something, okay? Some people do that all the time. That's awesome. Because if I make 3 posts a day on Facebook and you make a comment and you take that language and you write your example sentence for every post, then you've written 3 sentences that day in English. Okay? Maybe it's just a sentence. But when studying, doing something is better than doing nothing, right? So maybe you want to exercise and you want to get more healthy, and you don't have time to go to the gym, okay? But you say, you know what? I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk around the block. I'm going to take a walk for 5 minutes. And then your friend might say, well, 5 minutes of walking, that's not very much exercise. But it's better than nothing. Doing something is better than nothing. So responding to a post on social media, it's something, okay? You want to do more? Then you become the blogger, okay? On your social media, you share your new vocabulary. If you study something and you learn new vocabulary, and then you want to practice that vocabulary, don't just practice in your notebook. Put it up on your social media. Go here's my new word that I learned today. All right? It's more impressive to me if you post on Instagram, for example, if you post here's a sentence with the new word I learned. That's more impressive than here's my dessert. Okay? That's just me, because I'm an English teacher, I guess. Or get a blog, okay? There are many blogging platforms. You don't have to be a computer scientist and a programmer and do a WordPress blog. There are lots of blogging platforms. Blog in English, okay? That's possible. And then the other thing you can do is to keep a journal. All of my private lesson students keep a journal. That's the basis of our English lesson. And so writing a journal, whether it's, what I did today. Oh, today I woke up early and I saw Michael's live YouTube and he talked about blah, blah, blah. Perfect. Or, I watched Friends. This is what you write. You write, I watched Friends today and I found out that Ross is in love with Phoebe, or whatever. So you can summarize what you watch on TV. You can summarize a YouTube video. You can summarize what you read. So today I read 2 pages in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and Greg was writing his wish list for Christmas, and Greg wanted to have the Barbie dollhouse for his soldiers, but his father said no. Perfect. You write that. So a summary is a good thing to write, and that's what you can put in your journal. If you have a teacher, ask your teacher to check it. If you don't have a teacher, fine. At least you're doing the output. Okay? Michael, this is what people say to me. This makes me laugh. It goes, Michael, I don't have anybody to check my writing, so I shouldn't write. No, that's just an excuse. That's just an excuse. That's like saying you're going to the gym. Oh, nobody's checking how much weight I'm lifting, so that's a waste. No, you don't need a personal trainer necessarily to improve your strength, okay? And you don't need a teacher necessarily. I'm a teacher, I'm saying that, to improve your language skills. So don't let, I don't have anyone to check my writing, so I can't write anything. Don't let that influence you, okay? You need to write something. So that's writing, okay? That's my point about writing. Try to write something. Okay, let me get back to the comments here. News. Okay, My Fair Lady, Casablanca. Yep, those are all good to watch. I want to be an English-speaking YouTuber in the future, like 100 years later. No, do it now. All right, go to what you do is here. This is what you should do. That's in the speaking part, which I'll get to. So it's Jonathan English speaking. All right, so there's an English teacher. He's an American teacher. He lives in Mexico. His name is Jonathan. And he has something called the English Speaking Channel. And what he does is it's a group that gets together every month, and there's topics, and you record yourself speaking, either using your phone, you either do a sound recording or you do a video recording, and then you post that somewhere in his universe. And I think it's only available, maybe it's his Facebook group, but it's only available to, it's not available to the public. It's only available to people in the group, okay? And so, but it's daily. It's every day. And so I believe the way it works is Jonathan will give you a topic for that day, and then you record yourself either with a video or just audio, and you record yourself speaking about that topic, and then you post it. And then people will give you feedback. Your fellow learners and him will give you feedback on your speaking. And it's not just for English. So he has people learning other languages. And so, for example, if I was in his group, I would be speaking in Japanese, and then other Japanese people in the group could comment and give me some feedback on my speaking. Okay, so that's a way that you can get output with speaking. All right, so you don't have to wait 100 years for that, Kingo. Is the 60? Leah asks, is this 60-70% understanding method applicable to writing? If I write with mistakes without checking, is it okay? Okay, so, all right, so. Okay, so, this is a really, really good question that Leah posted. If I write with mistakes without checking them, is it okay? Or should I check my writing every time? If you're in a conversation with somebody and you make some mistakes, but they can understand you and they don't check you, is that okay? I think yes. And so, because you need the output. So, just like I always tell people, just speak. Don't worry about mistakes. Just speak because you need the practice to get it out. If you're nervous and worried about making a mistake, you're not going to speak. You're not going to have the output and the fluency that you want. And so I would say don't worry about mistakes. Just write. Oh, well, if I write something and it's wrong, how will I know? You'll know in a couple of months if you write something every day, and you'll start to see your writing improving, right? You know, the first time you cook something, maybe it doesn't taste great, but the 10th time you cook that, you figured it out. And so don't let the fear of making a mistake stop you from doing something. You have to do it. You have to have the output. So just write. Just write. And what you can write, for example, is if you learn some vocabulary, try to write a couple of sentences with that. And that's the question about memorizing vocabulary, which we'll talk in detail in a minute. But just write. Just write. Don't worry about the mistakes. It doesn't make a difference. You'll survive. Okay. No, Kingo, your comments are great. All right, good. So you learned a new vocabulary from your friends, right? You learn, and then you take that vocabulary and you write it somewhere. Okay. All right. So now we have to talk about speaking. Oops, sorry. Now we have to talk about speaking. So I already told you about Jonathan's English Speaking Challenge. If you go to Google and you type Jonathan English Speaking Challenge, you'll find him. I think on Instagram his name is Learn English with Jonathan. So, but Google will help you find him. Okay. You don't need a native speaker, okay? You do not need a native speaker. What did he say? Let me say that again. You don't need a native speaker. Okay. That's a myth, right? It's like, you know, the fairy godmother and Santa Claus. It's made up. Okay? You don't need a native speaker. There are studies and there's research done that shows that two non-native English speakers can have a more productive conversation than a non-native speaker and a native speaker. So if Naoko and Tammy talk together, that's more productive for them than if Naoko and I talk together. Okay? That's the truth. Okay? So you don't need native speakers. And some people say, well, I don't want to speak to people because I need a native speaker. That's another myth. Okay? So no, you don't need native speakers. What happens then if you live in a place where there are no English speakers around? Maybe none of your friends study English. Maybe nobody around you speaks English because in your country, wherever you live, there's no English speakers, whether it's a native speaker or another learner. Then what do you do? Well, if you don't have native speakers near you, or speakers, I shouldn't say native, if you don't have English speakers, then there are apps, right? Hello Talk. Hello Talk is an app where you can find people that want to do a language exchange with you. There's Clubhouse, right, where you can go into rooms and you can speak English. So, and then Twitter and I think Spotify also have like Clubhouse, like they have rooms where people are talking and you can join the conversation. So that's a way to do it. And you know, the good thing about Clubhouse, you can make your own room. You make a room on Clubhouse that says, let's talk in English. And then you open the room and somebody'll come in and start talking with you. Perfect. Okay, so there's plenty of ways thanks to technology, that you can practice speaking if you don't have a person physically with you. So if you don't have somebody nearby that speaks English, and if you don't want to use an app like Clubhouse or something like that, then the only thing that you can do, or the next thing you can do, is you talk to yourself. And it doesn't mean that you're crazy because you're talking to yourself. It's you're practicing the language. You have to get comfortable having the words come out of your mouth. And one of the ways to do that is to talk to yourself. And so what can you do? Well, you can read out loud. You get a book and you just read the book with your voice. And, AK Channel said, how do I change my accent? Okay, so when you read, let me give an example. Okay. All right. And I'm going to use Naoko's question because I need a sentence. All right. So, all right. Nouns and verbs, when you read out loud, nouns and verbs get stressed. Other words are not stressed. Okay, so people is a noun. Understand is a verb. Okay. What if people don't understand what I said? And said's another verb. Let me do that again. What if people don't understand what I said? Okay. So there's a sentence where I'm stressing the nouns and the verbs, and I'm not stressing the other words, okay? What if people don't understand what I said? Not that. What if people don't understand, hear the stress there, what I said? Okay, that's what you're going to do when you're reading out loud, okay? Reading out loud, Leah has a good point. Leah says, sorry, let me just unpin that, sorry. Leah says, reading out loud and speaking are different. That's right. Absolutely. When you speak, you have to think about it, and when reading takes the mental part away. Of course. I'm not saying that reading out loud is the only thing to do. I'm just saying it's one thing to do. Yeah, it is different. But again, if you don't have a chance to talk with people, if you have nobody to talk to and you want to improve your speaking, reading out loud is better than nothing. And then the other thing about talking to yourself is thinking in English. So if you've studied with me for a long time, you know that I give you this example. It's the same example all the time. Think in English. So in the morning, when you wake up, you go into the bathroom and you do your morning routine. Okay, I'm going to brush my teeth now. You say that. You say that with your voice. Okay, time to brush my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth. Ooh, I spit the water out. Okay, I'm going to wash my face now. I'm washing my face. I'm washing my face. I'm washing my face. Okay, I'm going to dry my face. I'm going to dry my face, dry my face, dry my face. Okay, so I just washed my face and brushed my teeth. And now I'm going to make breakfast. So, where should I have breakfast? I think I'll go into the kitchen. Just thinking out loud with your voice. So I'm walking into the kitchen. Okay, this is my kitchen. My kitchen is white. Boring. Okay, so what am I going to have for breakfast today? First, I need coffee. I'm going to make a cup of joe. So walk to the coffee maker. And everything that you're doing, it's like there's a little narrator in here that's telling the story and talking about what you're doing. And if you want to challenge yourself, then you should talk to yourself in the third person. Well, it looks like he's brushing his teeth now. He's brushing his teeth very, very well. I see he's finished his brushing his teeth, and now he is walking into the kitchen. He's walking into the kitchen. He's walking to the coffee machine. Now he's pouring the water in the coffee machine. So you're talking to yourself, but you're narrating it, and you're telling the story in the third person. And that's good practice because, as you know, in English, English has the third person S, right? And everyone, I don't care where you're from in the world, everyone says, oh, he drank coffee. He drinks coffee. So he makes coffee every morning. He makes coffee. Or she eats toast every morning. She eats. You could say, I eat toast every morning. But if you do that in the third person, that helps you practice all of those third person S sounds. All right? So that's thinking in English. Okay? So those are all the things that you can do to help yourself, practice English. Okay? And so let's go back to the top. Every day. Now, I recommend 5 minutes or so. What does that mean? So, 5 minutes, do some listening. 5 minutes, do some reading. That's 10 minutes. Okay? Take another 5 minutes and summarize what you read, and summarize what you listened to in writing. And then read the thing you just wrote. Okay? So that's 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes. Okay? Just 20 minutes to do that. And then if you have other things that you do when you're practicing English, awesome. Awesome. But my advice is try to get into the habit of doing this every day. All right. And then, hang on one second. I got to just reformat this document. Okay. What happened? Okay. Microsoft Word doesn't like me. Okay. All right, vocabulary. Somebody in the chat, can you type a word that you recently learned? Some new word or new idiom or new phrasal verb. Just anybody go ahead and type that. Type a word in the chat. Please, somebody type a word or an idiom or a phrasal verb that you learned recently. Candid. Perfect. Okay. Leah, give me an example. Give me a sentence with candid. I put you on the spot. Elaborate. All right. All right. So, okay. Let's take those two words. Mia, give me an example, or Leah, give me an example sentence with candid. Or elaborate. Chip in. Okay, give me a chip in. Perfect. So give me an example. Chip in. Candid. And elaborate. Elaborate. Another approach is having teachers like you. Thank you very much. All right. Here's an example sentence. Let's see. Okay. Thank you. You beat me to it. Okay. To be candid with you, it was a tough task. Hang on one second. Okay. Okay. Here's my sentence. I'm giving you candid advice about learning English. Okay. Hadi, thank you. He's very candid in his thought. Okay, so here we have 3 examples. Now, what you have to do is you have to take the word, you have to take the new word or idiom, grammar, whatever it is. Sorry, I'm not good at typing. Okay. There are no tricks. There are no tricks to learning vocabulary. Okay? Building your vocabulary is really hard. Now, when you're a beginner, so easy, right? You know nothing about English, you start learning, wow, you rapidly and quickly build up your vocabulary. But when you get to the intermediate and advanced level, it's really difficult. Really, really difficult. Okay? I know that. I know that. I study Japanese. I know that it's difficult to learn vocabulary. And if you watch YouTube and you see any other English teacher telling you that there's some trick or that it's easy or you don't have to... I saw one teacher say, phrasal verbs are not necessary to learn. Oh, really? How do you say turn on the light without a phrasal verb? Teacher. Okay. It's not easy. It's not easy. But this is what I do. I take the new word, candid, for example. I write it in a sentence that's true for me. I am giving you candid advice about learning English. And then you study your sentence. That's what you do. That's what I did. Okay? So, because, for example, Naoko says, let's chip in and buy her a birthday gift. Chip in, right? So chip in, by the way, candid means to be very truthful or honest or straight, right? I'm giving you candid advice about learning English. I'm telling you my best advice that I have for you. With no fancy trick or bullshit. This is my true advice for you, okay? That's what candid means. Let's chip in and buy her a birthday gift. Chip in means to, it's Elena's birthday. And so let's all put in some money. We'll all chip in. Means everybody puts in $5 and we buy a birthday cake for Elena with all that money. Okay? Maybe you have a situation where you've never done that, or you haven't done that recently, or you just don't do that. So your sentence could be, I don't chip in with people, or I have not chipped in with my coworkers ever. A negative sentence is a perfect sentence if it's true for you. Or maybe you might think that in your culture you don't do that. So in my culture we don't chip in, but in American culture they chip in. So it's not true for you, but it's true in your world. Okay? Because if the sentence that you write is true, then it makes sense to you. It's your sentence. I have to elaborate about my life. That's another one. Anaphylactic shock. I don't know how to use that in a sentence. That's a tough one. Leah says, this approach is just what the doctor ordered for me. Just what the doctor ordered means it's exactly what I need right now. So pitch in and chip in. Hadi, pitch in means to help others. Chip in means to put your money together to buy something. So it's a slightly different nuance there. Sharing candid thoughts with others is not too easy, but we'll give it a try. That's right. Okay? So that's my best advice for vocabulary, because that's what I do and that's what works for me. You might have another way, but I think taking the vocabulary and writing some sentences that are true in your world helps you remember that word, because it just makes sense. Oh yeah, I chip in with my coworkers and we bought a cake for Michael for his birthday, whatever. So that's my advice about learning vocabulary, and that's my advice about learning English. So, hang on one second. There it is. So, again, try to listen to something every day. Try to read something every day. Try to write something every day, and try to speak something every day. And I think that's going to help you improve your English. And that's my best advice. I don't have any secrets. This is, if you're looking for the learn English in 20 minutes, I don't have that advice. I've got advice for learn English in 20 minutes per day. If you spend 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes listening, 5 minutes reading, 5 minutes writing, and 5 minutes speaking, just like it says there, if you do that every day for a month, you're going to feel better about your English. But it's got to be an everyday thing. You've got to put the time in every day. You've got to spend the effort every day, because it's like anything else. You want to play the piano, you got to practice every day, and then you get better at it. And so that's my best advice. So, can you elaborate on this? All right. So that, my friends, is my candid advice, and that is all the time that we have for today's live English lesson. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that. Great comments in the chat. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking at my other screen right now, I think that this will be recorded so that you can see it again and again and again. God, I hope so. I hope so. I think it did that. Anyway, thank you very much for all of your awesome comments. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that you spent an hour with me today to study English. I'll be back next Monday at the same time. Also, keep in mind that every Tuesday at this time on Clubhouse, we're studying the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And so come and join us for that. And that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate all those nice comments. You guys are awesome. Study hard, study hard, study hard. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great night. I'm not sure what time it is where you are, but thanks for hanging out with me today. And catch you later. Bye, guys.